When the lights come on, she's ready to rise. Donnelly steps up with faith in her eyes. Puzzle pieces fitting, stars up in the sky. With every prayer and song, she'll make your spirit fly.
She's got the voice that can heal the soul. Singing, gaming, she's on a roll. The Star Wars battles to her prayerful light. Donnelly's shining through the night. Shine on, Donnelly's, you light up the way. Singing, praying, bringing hope today.
From puzzles to the force, you're always on. Donnelly's,
You're our shining star. In the game or the prayer, she's standing tall. With every step, she answers the call. Blessings in her heart, light in her soul. With Donnelly's, we're ready to roll.
raise your hands, feel the groove. With her faith and her love, you can't lose.
From the galaxy far to the prayers so deep, Donnelly's is the joy we keep.
Shine on, Donnelly's, you're the light we need.
With every song and every prayer you lead.
From puzzles to the force, you're always on. Donnelly's, you're our shining song. Shine on, Donnelly's. Shine on.
Good morning, and happy Friday! How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody is doing well. Soul, congratulations on first. How's your day starting off? I am hoping later this afternoon to get to go on a bike ride. I am thinking I'm gonna head in the opposite direction that I usually go today and kind of just see what's over in the other direction. And because I very rarely go that way, even when I walk on the bike path. And so I kind of want to see, hey, what is there to see out that way? And so it'll be fun. And today is also laundry day. How is the balance of me to the music? Because I can turn down desktop audio a bit. I can turn down desktop audio a little bit if needed. What does everybody have planned today? So today is my laundry day, bike ride day. Let's see, what else is there? Possibly some Pathfinder, depending on how things go. With it being the holiday season, my campaigns are definitely very much kind of up in the air. I know one campaign we're meeting on next Saturday. That sounds about right. That sounds right. Yeah? Let me see. Because I'm pretty sure that's the day we were talking about. Yes. Let's check that. Yes, next Friday. So there's a possibility of there not being a stream next Friday, depending on what time that is. Oh, it's in the evening, so perfect. Perfect. So we never really like solidified a time, but with it being in the evening, that makes it a lot easier for me to be able to do my stream first thing in the morning. So yay, I can do both. A little sleepy still, your old college roommate called last night. She and her partner are in the area, so we're making plans to meet up tomorrow. Oh, I hope that goes well. I know things are a little bit rocky with that particular roommate, so it was nice catching up, but she didn't get to bed until pretty late. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That particular roommate was definitely more of a night owl, if I remember right from what you've told me of her. I was up later than I planned last night. Mom and I were watching Mrs. Doubtfire, and it was good. It was good. We got about maybe halfway through, and we got to do hot chocolate bombs, which are kind of like it's the concept of bath bombs in that they are designed to release in hot water or milk. But of course, rather than releasing stuff for your bath, it releases hot chocolate mix and marshmallows and sprinkles, and it tastes amazing. And so the first hot chocolate bombs of the season were drank last night, and they were delicious. One of my friends from Christian Youth Theater makes them every year. So every year we try and buy a bunch and be like, because it supports the orphanage that she was adopted from. And so we definitely want to make sure that we support that. We want to support our friend. And they're delicious, so it's the best of both worlds. And tomorrow, our Slow Start Saturday is going to be a mixture of American Truck Simulator and crochet. Because American Truck Simulator just dropped yesterday their latest map expansion, and it's Louisiana. And so I want to explore Louisiana a bit. I want to see what there is there, do a few short drives, and then we'll go into crochet. Right? American Truck Simulator, let's go! How's it going, Gigi? I hope you're doing well. I don't know if rocky is exactly right, but it's a difficult situation, so I know what you mean. Yeah, exactly. And yes, she is a night owl. I thought so. I've never been much of a night owl. I'm usually in bed by like 10 most nights at the latest. Unless it's like a special occasion, then I can kind of make myself stay up until later hours. But if I know that I need to be up, then I tend to try to be in bed by like 10 or 11 at the latest. At the very least was a night owl when we were in college. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's our plan for Slow Start Saturday. Ooh, a bit of gift wrapping. Nice! I need today to wrap Mom's presents, but I'm going to need Dad's help. So I might need to wait until he gets off work or until he's on lunch, which will probably be about the time we end stream. So I can see where we're at there. But do you guys want to see it? Let me grab it. Oh, I feel you there, soul. I feel you there. With her being right next door, I can't exactly say what it is, but I'm very, very proud of it. And I think it looks amazing. Now I need to fold it back up. Ah, come on. There we go. Right? It looks so good. I am very, very proud of it. There we go. Put that there. Thank you, Gigi. Insomnia aside, around 1 a.m. I usually feel myself going downhill pretty fast. Yeah, that's like when it comes to New Year's, that's about how late I tend to stay up, is about 1. And then I'm just like, ugh, I can't anymore. I'm gonna whisper this part. I'm very proud of how the edging turned out, because the edging is usually the hardest part for me. And my friend who helped me weave in all the ends and everything, she was like, I'm so proud of how your edging turned out. You don't even need a border. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited. Okay, so now we're gonna move on from that in case I accidentally speak too loud. But it is perfect. I cannot wait to see her face. And then let's see, what else do I have planned today? What else do I have planned today? Let's see. Bike ride, laundry, maybe some errands? Oh my gosh, you guys, I have a hilarious story for you guys. Okay, so I was running low on the soap I use from a store called Lush. It's like, it's organic soap. It's an organic company that is here in the States, and I think there's some in the UK as well. And possibly in Europe? Like in Europe as a whole? Like in the EU? But yeah, so I was running low on that particular soap. It's called Odie Creamy Dreamy. And it's beautiful for my psoriasis and eczema prone skin. I thought so because I remember on their website they had the option for the UK and using British pounds. But let's see. So I ordered online because I knew the only one in my town is about half an hour away. And I was like, there is no way I'm gonna be able to make that this week. And I'm low, you know? And so I had ordered that soap, and I had said, as long as I get it in the next 2 days, I have another soap I can use in the next, for the next couple days until it gets here. And if I can get it in the next week, perfect. So I got I spent a little extra to get the 2 to 8 day shipping because that was the cheapest one. And then I get an email that says, hey, you've been upgraded to next day delivery. And I was like, oh heck yeah, I'll take that. And so then the next day I get a text from my mom, and she says, hey, did you order something from Lush? They had sent it over in a Lush gift bag. And rather than packaging it up, they had used DoorDash the DoorDash driver had gone over to pick it up, and they had it in a Lush gift bag, Christmas themed and everything. And then DoorDash drove it over to my house, and I didn't know what time that was going to arrive, and so Mom's like, hey, this random Lush gift bag appeared at our house. Did you order something? And I'm like, yeah, that's my soap. That's so weird they put it in a gift bag. Yeah, Dusty, I'd love to hear something funny. I am always down for something funny. A raccoon was found in a Virginia liquor store, passed out in the bathroom, on a bathroom floor, drinking knocked over bottles. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! That's crazy! That's crazy! Oh man! Was the raccoon okay? I don't know if, let's see. Should raccoons have alcohol? They should not be given alcohol as it's toxic to them and can lead to severe health consequences, including dehydration, metabolic breakdown, and even death. Yup, I'm gonna go with no. I'm with you, Soul. I'm gonna go with no. They should have been keeping a better eye. But that is a funny story that happened. They put it back in the wild. Aww. Well, I hope it's okay and that it survives that ordeal without too much consequence. Here's hoping. Here's hoping. Fingers crossed. Oh, man. So what do you guys have planned for the day? Do you guys have anything fun? Is today your errand day? Is it... How's the weather where you are? Let's see, what is the weather like here today? Currently 40. By this afternoon, we'll be up in the 60s, so that should lead to some good bike riding weather. Here's hoping. 1 second, you guys. There we go. Go out, eat, and shop. Nice! Is it like your weekly grocery haul or going Christmas shopping? What kind of shopping? I might see... No, because we have leftovers. We have some leftovers. Oh, it's you and your mom's day out. I love it! That's so good! I love that. I am so excited for Sunday, you guys, because I get to help out at my church during service. My pastor asked me to read a monologue as Elizabeth from the Bible. And so I am so excited for that. I've got to remind myself. I've looked over the monologue a few times. I don't have to have it memorized, thankfully. They're just going to project it onto the back screen for me. But it is going to be so much fun, and I am so excited. You've got one more quiz to take for your tolerance class. Kind of hard to believe it's only one more week left. I know, right? I've got until the... Let me check that app. Let me check that app, because I thought it was the 15th, but I think they adjusted some days. I know I'm ahead of schedule. I've got until the 16th to do all the final labs. And so I need to take time. What I might end up doing, since I've got like 10 days, I could easily, over the next week, do like a lab or two a day. Because those labs never take too long, unless it's just those earlier ones. I need to remind myself how to do them. And so, yeah. If you can, you'll try to put together somewhat of a grocery list for tomorrow. There you go. I need to send you, Soul. I need to send you a recipe that Lady Foes sent me for bacon, or no, not bacon, broccoli cheddar rice. Broccoli cheddar rice, and you can use cauliflower rice for your dad because that's lower in carbs. And so it is so good. So good. It's homemade. You can use it, you can make it in your Instant Pot, and it is delicious. And you're essentially making your own cream ofs. Rather than using the cream of mushroom soup or the cream of broccoli soup, you're basically getting a bunch of mushrooms and a bunch of broccoli and making your cream of that way, but you're getting the little chunks of broccoli and chunks of mushroom in with it. And if you want protein, you can throw in some chicken. And it'll be delicious. I absolutely love it. I've got some of that left over. And so what I might do is I might heat up some of that and throw in a little bit of chicken. A little bit of chicken that's already diced. But we'll see. We'll see. Because we don't, like, we're still working our way through leftovers, so there hasn't really been a whole lot of going grocery shopping. So, yeah. Let's see. Let's go ahead and pray. I think we should go ahead and pray. Your dad desperately needs groceries. You're fine, but he's not so great at taking care of himself. And with the last-minute plans with the roommate and her significant other, you may have to lurk from the grocery store tomorrow. No worries. No worries at all. We're going to be working some more on our sweater. Guys, when I say this yarn feels soft, it feels soft. It is amazingly soft, and I love it. And as you can tell, I've also started one for off stream so that I can practice. Plus then I get a little bit heavier of a sweater and a little bit lighter of a sweater. How's it going, West? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. We're going to go ahead and pray. So if you have any prayer requests, please feel free to drop them below in chat. And I will be more than happy to pray over them. People aren't answering your calls or your emails. Oh, that's the worst. Prayers for your visit to go well, for him to go before you, that you might be able to represent him well. You got it. You got it. Any other prayer requests? I would love to get to pray for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and start praying. You guys feel free to drop them below in chat or use the please pray for me redeem, whichever is more comfortable for you. Prayers for finals, yeah. Mildly to moderately concerned for one and very concerned for the other. Yeah, you got it. You got it. I will look up partway through the prayer to make sure that I don't miss any requests, and then we'll dive in to some more Collar X Malice. Lord, right now we just come before you. We thank you for who you are and how much you love us. We ask that you just be with us in a new and mighty way today, Lord. We ask that you just fill us with your presence. Lord, I ask that you be with Soul. You know how her relationship with her former roommate is, Lord. I just ask that visit tomorrow goes well, tomorrow. And I ask that she just is able to represent you well, and that she is able to just be a light for you in this former roommate's life. I ask that you be with her dad and just continue to heal him, Lord. I ask that you be with both Soul and me as we enter the final couple weeks of our final week, I guess, of our class, that we're able to remember everything that we were taught, that we do well on our finals, Lord, that we can just finish these classes strong, Lord. I ask that you be with Kishu and her family, Lord. Be with her couple of unspokens, Lord. Be with her, just keep her and her family close to you, Lord, and just bring them closer and closer to you. Be with Shopkeep and his work. Help him to be able to just find fulfillment there, Lord. And if not, Lord, bring another job into his path. Be with Just a Little Spark. I know her family has been really struggling with the weather change as far as health is concerned. I ask that you be with Bearded Beowulf and be with Lotu and her family, Lord, in this time. Just give them a miracle, Lord, and give them your peace and your comfort, Lord. I ask that you be with Tie-Dye Chef Dave and his work. I ask that you be with Queen of Kratos and her foot, and that she's able to heal, and that the visit with the orthopedic doctor goes well, that if there's surgery needed, that it's sooner rather than later. I pray over anybody else who is struggling with illness or injury, Lord, that you just be with them. Be with Save the Lost, our favorite doctor, and his headaches, Lord. Just be with him. Be with Legend of Zyro. Be with Pastor Dustin and Kayla and all the other amazing, amazing Christian streamers. Be with Catherine Naomi. Be with the Rico Estrico. Be with Merides, and just all the other amazing people here who are just trying to be a light for you wherever we go. Thank you, Lord, that like the verse of the day yesterday said, you are near to those who call on you in truth, that we can rest assured that you are with us, even when you feel far away, Lord. That you are right there, ready and willing and waiting for us to call on you. I ask that you give us the courage to do that, Lord, to reach out, because I know it can be hard. I ask that you be with anybody struggling mentally. I ask that you be with Amethyst. I ask that you be with anybody else who's struggling with grief in this season, Lord. I ask that you be with Ashley from TikTok, Lord, who messaged me last night. Be with her and what I'm going to say is an unspoken for now, Lord. I ask that you be with my extended family situation, Lord. That you just move mountains that need to be moved, Lord. I ask that you just be with anybody who needs your presence today, Lord. I ask that you just bless us, bless our time of fellowship, Lord, and let it be a time of fun and deductive reasoning. Give us wisdom for these deductive reasoning with Donna sections, Lord. And I ask that you just give us a great time of just hanging out and let it be filled with you and what you want this stream to be, Lord, because it's not mine, it's yours. Anybody that is lurking, let them feel your presence, Lord. Let them feel your love. Shine through me, Lord. And in your name I pray. Amen. Oh, Rico, thank you so much. I hope you have a fantastic work day. Lord bless you, my dear battle brother. And I hope you have a fantastic work day. Love you, my friend. We're gonna go ahead and pause the musics. I'm gonna bring up that. There we go. I need to change the category. And then we can go to the game screen. It should be fine. Yes. Perfection. We're going to start the software because I don't want to miss anything. Okay. So we are back in the headquarters and getting ready to talk to Enomoto. Enomoto appeared to be the only person at the agency cooling himself with the handheld fan. I came here looking for Sasazuka, but is he out right now? Oh, why did I say Sakuragawa? I meant to say Sasazuka. I'm gonna update the title to reflect that. Sakuragawa was the one that came to mind. It's like the first S name that came to mind. There we go. Stream title has been updated to reflect the correct person that we are. Yep, that's who I meant. That is who I meant. The caffeine had not fully hit when I was making the stream title. I tell you guys, I was kind of running around like a chicken with my head cut off this morning because I got to bed late last night, which meant that I needed to shower this morning. So I got a quick shower, which put me a bit behind my schedule. And I was kind of like running around trying to get those last minute things done. And so the caffeine hit just a little bit later than normal. I came here looking for Sasazuka, but is he out right now? What? Faces and names in this visual novel, 2 S names and 1 route. It happens, right? Exactly. And when you're pre-caffeine, all the names blend into one. You know, all the people just kind of go bloop, 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 bloop. That would be going too far. I don't want to bother Sasazuka. There he goes again. As Enomoto said that, he pointed his fan with a satisfied look on his face. Not that I'm afraid, but Sasazuka isn't really my enemy to begin with. As Enomoto wrote down the address and hummed, I sighed internally. Sasazuka's house, huh? I glanced at the address on the note. It looked like it wasn't too far from here. Maybe I'll give it a shot and head over. I consulted my phone for directions and made my way to Sasazuka's apartment. I think it's probably around here. As I nervously looked for the place, I took out my cell phone. It'd be rude if I just suddenly dropped by. Wait a minute. So she has her phone out for her GPS, right? And then she says she took it out again. Okay, so maybe once she kind of got a feel for where she was, and put her phone, like, turned off GPS, put her phone back in her pocket, and now she's kind of like, okay, now I need to text him and let him know that I'm here. That could be what we're doing. That could be what we're going with. I'm gonna go with that. Good morning, Mabius. How's it going? Now I'm wondering how many crimes against English grammar and comprehension Tim will commit during today's playthrough. Yes, I am too. I meant to make a command about that, didn't I? Did I? Going well so far. The caffeine is finally hitting. It took a little bit. My morning was a little bit rushed today, but now we're able to kind of slow down. Looking forward to a bike ride later today, and getting Mom's Christmas present wrapped up with Dad's help. It's gonna be great. Yeah, we'll go with that. Give Tim some slack. Exactly. It'd be rude if I just suddenly dropped by. I should try calling just in case, and if it didn't connect, then I'd give up tonight. As I settled on that plan, the call connected. Oh, we woke him up! His voice sounded tired. You sound like you've been working hard. I'm close to your place right now, and I went to the agency and you weren't there, and Enomoto gave me your address. Sounds like it'd be a problem if I came by. Oh, what sweets is he going to ask for? Yes? I knew it. I usually hated the way he treated me like his personal gopher, but this one time it actually worked out in my favor. As I felt my anxiety dissipate, I headed towards the convenience store. Dinner, huh? He always has instant ramen containers, snack wrappers, and those nutritional block-shaped foods products on his desk. Right? See, I already know him so well. I knew he would want some food in exchange. I thought he would want sweets, but he just wants dinner. I would prefer if he actually ate a proper meal for once, but after I considered it for a bit... Ooh. Let's see. I feel like he would probably prefer... Because the last time we tried cooking for him... Well, actually, the last time we tried cooking for him, he liked it. So maybe we do that again. Because at first he didn't seem to like it, but the reading between the lines said that he did. Plus, then he and I could eat together. But it's also late at night. Yeah, consider the context. He likes the prepared foods better. he tends to go for those. Because at least if we cooked a meal, then we could eat together, you know? Like, that would open up a door for... But then again, if I say I bought prepared food, there's always a chance that she'll say, I bought enough for both of us, you know? So there is that. There is that. Prepared food. Because he always eats prepared food. I should probably just do as he asked. I thought about cooking for him, but I didn't know what cooking utensils he had, given the way he normally ate. Oh, that's a good point, too! That's something I didn't consider. We're going to his place. We don't know what he has on hand to cook with. That's a very good point! I picked up a bunch of food that could be eaten immediately, like onigiri and sandwiches. That's true. He sounded tired. I would need to use his kitchen. Exactly. That's a good point. That's a very good point. Yes. That was something I definitely hadn't considered. Excuse me. Exactly, yeah. He'd be like, oh, why do you feel like you have to cook for me? This is stupid. Sasazuka led me into his place, which was simple, but surprisingly very clean. Oh, here. I handed him the entire bag. You seemed hungry, so I just picked up stuff that was ready to eat. I bought more than enough, so if there's something you don't like, I'll take care of it. Hey! I don't need to be fed. I countered before Sasazuka could try anything and put my hand into the bag. Trust up! Yes! Sasazuka stuck out his lip in a bit of a pout. After he sated his hunger, Sasazuka looked over at his desk and his bank of monitors and beckoned me over. This is some impressive equipment. Dude, a four monitor setup. That's crazy. Wow. Then again, my dad has about a 4 monitor setup in his office. So it works.
事務所のよりハイスペックだからな。昨べ峯岸と会った後、少しして新宿署のセキュリティレベルが急に上がった。
What? What do you mean?
転送されるはずのメールが届かなくなったり、ネットワークに侵入できなくなったってことだ。おそらく峯岸の仕業だろう。
Oh, that could be. Does that...
今までは気づいてても目こぼししてた。でもこれからは違うってことだ。
I didn't know much about Shinjuku Station's systems, but I think it'd be tough to overhaul the entire station's security overnight. She's right, because it would be, you'd have multiple, you'd have to have people that set all that up and then push it out to all the systems on, like all the computers on that network. So it wouldn't be like it wouldn't necessarily, it would be somewhat quick depending on what their security already looked like. The quick part would be, it would just take a press of a button to push it out to everybody. The hard part would be looking through all the different systems to, not the hard part, but the not so quick part would be the looking through everything to make sure everything matched what you needed it to do. They probably just locked down the station or the section that Sasazuka was using to infiltrate. Yeah, that makes sense. That would be definitely more of an overnight thing. If they were like, hey, somebody's, getting our emails forwarded to them from this address, they just lock that down. That's a very quick process. So that makes sense. I'm sure that all the sensitive information about Adonis would have been behind a more robust layer of their security. Sasazuka was specifically targeted. He hit a few keys and pressed enter. A small window popped up and information scrolled. Then the station's network login screen appeared. Did your hack work? His response was muted, but it seemed like he was hiding some dissatisfaction.
とはいえ、これもいつまで持つかわかんねえ。要は峯岸からのメッセージなんだよ。俺の腕なら時間さえかけりゃこの程度のセキュリティは突破できる。でも毎度こんな真似をしてらんねえ。情報一つ取るのにコストがかかりすぎる。
So Minagishi is making it so that you don't really have any option but to rejoin the police force.
そういうこと。言ったろ。峯岸はバカじゃねえって。
Sasazuka sighed heavily, and I hesitantly asked, why don't you want to rejoin the police force? I know you have your own plans, but I don't really understand.
言ってねえからな。わかんなくて当然。
Then let me try asking this way. Sasazuka, why did you quit the police force?
関係ねえだろそれは。
Is it something you can't tell me?
だから関係ねえって。
Is it because you still don't trust me?
そういうわけじゃねえよ。
Is it because of the collar then? After I asked that, Sasazuka went silent. From the scowl on his... Ah! Tim? My friend? My buddy, here. Have some coffee. From his scowl on his face, it didn't really seem like that was the reason either. Sasazuka.
そういうことだと思っとけ。とにかく今は何も言う気はない。以上。
I think maybe this person is actually a lot worse at telling lies than I realized. After Sasazuka looked away from me, he rose from his seat. Then... Huh?
飯食ったら眠くなった。寝る。
What?
お前はさっさと帰れ。いいな。
He's also bad at hiding his feelings. He stubbornly shut his eyes and feigned sleep. I've never seen Sasazuka act so utterly childish before. I sighed, and then I started picking up all the trash he'd made while eating his dinner. After I collected all the trash in one place, I used his sink and washed my hands, looked at myself, and let out an ironic laugh. He's difficult, but I can't hate him. When we first met, he was a source of near terror. But now, I feel like I've completely opened up to Sasazuka. At least enough to think that if he was carrying a burden, I wanted to help him carry it. If I said this, that might actually tick him off. I prepared to go home. I'll be heading out now, Sasazuka. I announced my departure with a soft voice, but Sasazuka didn't respond as expected. I put on my boots and opened the door. Then... Huh? Just to be certain, I checked to make sure the door was shut, but it opened. The doors don't auto-lock at this place? I couldn't just leave with his door unlocked. I needed to get him to lock his door. It was inconceivable for me as a guest to just leave his front door unlocked, considering the current state of Shinjuku. I entered his apartment again, excused myself, and called out to Sasazuka. Sasazuka! Excuse me, Sasazuka? I'm leaving, but you need to lock the door. Huh? No way! Is he actually asleep? I stretched out my hand in order to jostle Sasazuka awake, prepared for him to be upset at me. But instead... Huh? Oh, hi! This is quick. I was face to face with the sleeping Sasazuka. It's very similar to how quickly the one with Enomoto came about. Perhaps he's half asleep, but he's got me locked in his arms like a body pillow. Hey, Sasazuka, I'm not okay with this. His grip on me didn't loosen up. I could probably have forced my way out of this, but for some reason I couldn't bear to do that. Why didn't I notice this? As I got a good chance to look at Sasazuka's face, I noticed the dark circles around or under his eyes. I assumed that he'd probably been up all night hacking. He must be exhausted. This was beyond troublesome. But I also couldn't say that I hated it. As I tried to figure out how to feel about my predicament, I looked at his face. He looks so innocent while he's asleep. If I was helping him rest like this, I figured I could endure this for a little while longer. As I was thinking that, I felt the constant warmth from his arms. Good morning, Sam! Not sure how long you can stay, but you just don't want to be alone and hoping you can stay here for a while. Absolutely! Absolutely! How you doing today? If I had a nickel for every time Collar X Malice latched onto Collar X Malice love interest latched onto Ichika in his sleep, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice in the span of 2 rounds back to back. Exactly. You'll still be here, but there's this corner you've been meaning to clean out forever, so you're going to be lurking for a bit. Hey, no worries, Mabius. I've got a corner that's like that myself. I call it my travel corner, but it's quickly become a crap corner where I just put things that I don't know what to do with. There we go. Sorry, guys. Rock-a-bye, baby, on the treetop. In the darkness, I heard a nostalgic song. Hanging on. Hold on one second. Let me get to where I can scroll back up here. A lot tired lately and as usual in pain, but bearable. Waiting on a second set of dialysis, and hopefully you won't be in too much pain again like you used to last time. Well, that's good. That hopefully your dialysis helps you and you're able to not be in pain anymore. Got the stream up on TV, so if I need you or just want to chat, give you a holler. You got it, Mabius. You got it. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. Almost whispered as if to soothe me. It was the song that my mother sang over and over when she'd started babysitting to fill time when father wasn't around. Why am I hearing this now?
その歌か。
そんなこと言わないで。あなたの時だってこうしてずっと歌ってあげていたのよ。
なも記憶にあるわけですし。
そうね。懐かしいわ。
そいつもう寝たんだ。
ええ。見て。ぐっすりよ。
赤ん坊って寝てばっかだな。
寝るのがお仕事みたいなものだから。タケルもよく寝る子だったわ。
だから記憶にねえって。
いいのよ。それはね、私だけの大事な思い出だから。私の息子、あなただけよ、タケル。
You're not really sure how much you can hold on to. It's a bit much lately, been passing out a lot and it scares you. Doctors can't figure out why it's happening, but it's a bit unusual to pass out or be in too much pain after dialysis. Gotcha. I don't know a whole lot about dialysis, so I don't know what's considered normal and what's not normal. So I hope that you don't pass out too much. I would say as long as the doctors aren't too concerned, I think you're okay. It sounds like they're just trying to figure out why it happens, because it could just be a levels thing. Because sometimes dialysis, from what I hear, can affect... Well, actually, no, I shouldn't say that. I'm not a doctor. I wonder if dialysis can affect levels of different things that you need. Like, I know if you don't have enough sodium, for example. Ad starting in just a minute. Don't worry, you guys are not gonna miss a thing. Like, if you don't have a high enough sodium level, that can definitely affect you. If your blood sugar's too low, that can make you pass out. There's all different kinds of things. And maybe eventually dialysis will get those levels back in a normal range and you'll be better able to not pass out so much. But I don't know. So we're gonna go ahead, excuse me, and I'm gonna pause the game here for ad break, and then we'll pick it up right here after ads. Be right back. Alrighty, thank you guys for sitting through those ads. You're getting tired of seeing FNAF 2 ads? I didn't even know that. I knew they had a FNAF 1. I don't know if I'd heard that they were FNAF 2. First one did okay in the box office, apparently. The second movie released today. Interesting. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not in the... Maybe the algorithm knows that I'm not necessarily a horror fan, and so it's like, hey, we're just not gonna show you FNAF 2 trailers so that you don't, like, completely freak out. Oh my gosh, you guys. I tend to jump scare very, very easily. So when I watch movies, I can make myself jump scare even when I know it's coming. You're also not a doctor, but wouldn't be surprised if low blood pressure could be related to it. That's a good point too, Soul. You've passed out after things like shots and blood draws, even piercings once. Yeah, that totally would make sense. That totally would make sense. The lower levels, it could also just be the stress of everything, and your body is just going, nope, too much. I bolted awake with a chill up my spine. My heart was racing and I was in a cold sweat, although there was also an odd warmth. Noticing the figure sleeping soundly in my arms, I began to feel flustered. Will do, Dusty. You have a fantastic day. Even if you don't pass out, the anxiety still leaves you feeling faint and shaky. Exactly. Stress, anxiety, all of that can lead to passing out, for sure. After establishing that, I put 2 and 2 together and felt embarrassed. After heaving a sigh of relief, I stared at the face of the girl sleeping next to me. You've only passed out once? Heat stroke. Yeah, that'll do it. I've come close to passing out. I remember at one point, I just remember all the color. I was at volleyball practice and all color just went away from my vision. Like it was just all brown, if I remember correctly. And I was like, hey coach, I don't think I'm feeling well. And she was like, yeah, you don't look good, go sit down, get some water, take a break. And after I rested a few minutes, all of a sudden everything was fine. So I think that was some near heat stroke or some near just like passing out. My anxiety, well, I'm terrified of heights, but I do remember having a very near panic attack trying to hang a light in the theater. It was crazy. You're under constant blood transfusion, so it's not a big issue for you. The passing out only started after you had the fever and face swelling and got readmitted to the hospital. So that, to me, sounds like it could be more stress-related. Nearly happened a second time. Had to finish that hike shirtless just to stay cool. Oh, man. Passed out 11 times this week alone? Oh, wow. That's a lot. That could be a blood pressure thing. I don't know. That seems like a lot of times to pass out in a week. I know there's a lot of different medical conditions that can cause that, but I'm sure with you being surrounded by doctors, they're keeping an eye on you, and I'm sure everything will be okay. That ridiculously peaceful stirred up an intense hatred? Tim, what are we trying to say here? Did we miss a word? Tim the terrible typist? Ayúdame, por favor. That ridiculously peaceful stirred up an intense hatred. I'm guessing maybe ridiculously peaceful face? Stirred up an intense hatred? You've passed out once from piercings and once from a shot, which was given to you standing up when you started working at a pediatric clinic. You also vaguely remember being so exhausted from a blood draw as a kid that you got home and fell asleep just before making it to your bed. Woke up kneeling on the floor. You thought the same, but your blood pressure is normal even when you feel switchy. Doctors suspect it might be due to less sleep or something else, but not to worry much about it. See, to me it's the frequency of it that's weird. It could be less sleep and your body just saying, I need more sleep. But 11 times in the past week, that's a lot. I don't know. But again, I'm not a medical professional. I'm leaving that up to the professionals. This girl's life was in jeopardy right now. The collar she was wearing could inject poison into her neck at any moment. I wondered how it felt, living your life while it was in someone else's grasp. You keep telling yourself that, Sasazuka, but I know deep down you care. I know deep down you care, sir. See? You're realizing it too. In a sense, she could be considered a victim, but I definitely haven't treated her like one. I was aware of that. Even still, I couldn't leave her alone. I was definitely not myself around her. Yes. I didn't think I was stupid enough to be moved so much in such a short period of time. That's why this... So we've gone from cat to Poochie. First she was a collared cat. Then she became a puppy, happy to be praised. It seemed that this girl is very pet-like. That's why I was acting like this. That's all it is. No, I think you're in love and you just don't know what that is or what that feels like yet. And so because of that, you know. Yeah, I'm not a doctor and I know very little about dialysis, but if the doctors aren't worried about it, then I'd try not to worry. Worrying just makes things worse. Exactly. We're gonna leave all the worrying to the professionals and leave all of our worries to God. It is a scary time. It is. And that's when we call on God and we say, "Hey God, I'm really scared about this. Fill me with your peace." And we just keep on praying that. In fact, Lord, right now we just bring Sam before you. We ask that you be with the doctors and give them wisdom in how to treat this whole passing out so frequently thing. I know right now they don't seem like they're worried, Lord, but Sam is, so I pray that you just fill her with your peace. Help her to call on you whenever she feels scared and to assure her that you are there. Fill her with your peace and your comfort. And in your name I pray. Amen. See, Sasazuka, you're realizing you're in love. You're in love. The cheerful sleeping face still kind of rankled me. Yeah, and that's totally normal. You're not a medical professional. So it makes sense that you would be like, "Hey, why is this happening?" Because you're not trained in it. So it's not dumb to ask. It's you trying to figure out what's going on. And the doctors are going to be happy to answer your questions. If they're a doctor worth their salt, they're going to give you the answers that you need, and they're going to make sure that you are comfortable and understand those answers that they're giving. And so they recognize that you're not a medical professional, that you haven't spent years studying how the body works and all these different illnesses and things like that. And so they'll be like, yeah, totally get that you're not a professional and we are, so that's why you're asking. Exactly, like Soul said, the doctors are there to monitor you during treatment and helping you navigate it all as part of their job. They want you to ask questions. They want you to understand what's going on. They want you to be able to make the most informed decisions that you can. And so it's all part of their job. Well, being aware of your body isn't exactly the same as knowing why it's happening. It's one thing to realize, hey, something is going on that is causing me to pass out a lot. But that doesn't mean that you're automatically going to know the why behind it. Because again, you're not a medical professional. You're looking at this as somebody that's not a medical professional, and you're going, like, as a non-medical professional, your scope of understanding isn't quite to where they're at. You're able to, as a non-medical professional, say, this is different than how my body normally handles this. But it's okay to not understand the why. That's why the medical professionals are there. The awareness of your own body is the saying, hey, something feels off. Something feels different than it used to. Knowing the why behind it, that's not necessarily, that's like the next step after the awareness. Does that make sense? Therefore, this was all her fault for sleeping inside my arms without permission. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. You're the one who sleepily grabbed her. You know your sickness and your diagnosis, you know your disorder and how you feel, but you can't properly convey it. It's just hard for you to come up with words. All you can say is you feel dizzy and tired and feel like throwing up and you don't know why. Exactly, that's the awareness. That's the awareness. The symptoms, like Soul said, the symptoms tell you something is going on, but you haven't been trained to diagnose what's going on. People go through many, 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 many years of schooling to learn that. That's why medical school is so long. That's why it's 4 years of undergrad, and then you've got your residency, and then fellowship, actually internship, and then fellowship, and then, like you've got your undergrad, and then medical school, internship, residency, fellowship, and then you're in attending. It's years and years and years of continuing education. And that's what gives them the ability to know. But your awareness is you saying, I feel dizzy, I feel tired, I feel nauseous. But it's okay to not know the why. You feel like you're crazy, like you're losing your mind. That could be another symptom of something. So that's another symptom. I don't think you're necessarily losing your mind. I think that could be either a symptom of like a result of one of your symptoms. Is it messing with your brain and your thought process? Like it could be just one of your disorders telling you, hey, you're crazy. Whatever it is, it's the enemy, the devil telling you, hey, you're crazy, because God is a God of peace, not confusion. And so, but that doesn't mean that we're meant to understand everything. You just want some answers on why things are going on so you can be at peace to yourself. And that's where the doctors come in. Your job as the patient is conveying what you're feeling. You don't necessarily have to understand the why behind it. Or no, I guess I should say the why behind it. The doctor's job is to help you understand the why. So any questions that you have about the why, that's their job to answer. Because it's okay to not understand the why, or to not know the why, I should say, because you haven't been trained to know the why. They have. And in their mind, they're, as trained doctors, they're going, okay, well, all these symptoms could point to any number of things. And so now they're trying to narrow it down. So they might not know why right away, because they're going, okay, these are the symptoms, these are all the things that match these symptoms. And they have to kind of watch you and narrow it down from there to reach a diagnosis. And that's why they're always consulting with each other. That's why they're always, looking at past stuff. They're looking at your medical history. They're looking at other people who have been in the same situation. Things like that. Yeah, the uncertainty is hard, but asking questions and opening up to the doctors as best you can only helps them find answers. Exactly. Because if you don't say, this is what I'm feeling, and they don't know that that's what you're feeling, then, that those are the symptoms, and they might be missing pieces of the puzzle that will help them get to an answer. Yeah, and those bits and pieces, it can take a while in certain cases for them to find those answers. Unfortunately, life isn't like TV, like Grey's Anatomy, where everything is solved within half an hour. It can take a while, depending on the symptoms, depending on all kinds of things, for them to narrow it down and figure it out. Oh, you're fine. You're fine. Thank you for the lurk, Kishu. I hope you're doing well today.
とりあえずスウェーデンはもらっとく。以上。
I got tired of thinking, so I closed my eyes. I felt the warmth from holding her close, and it wasn't so bad. I soon fell asleep. If I was to head down that rabbit hole, it would definitely be inconvenient for me. That was why I let myself descend into sleep. Ooh, report for June. So that was the school. June 1st, an explosion struck a Shinjuku middle school, killing an entire class. They were doing a science experiment at the time, so it was initially ruled as an accident. However, the damage caused changed the ruling. Kishu is a fantastic singer. I don't know if she's necessarily in a place where she's able to sing since she is lurking, and I know she said to me kind of off stream that today's a busy day, but maybe another time. Because I love singing with Kishu. I love singing with anybody, so it's one of those things where the timing just has to be right, and I'm not sure if today is that day. Amen, soul. Amen. The best thing you can do is bring it to God. He's the only one who has the full picture and can give you true peace that the world can't. Exactly. Exactly. The Roman numeral 7 was drawn on the roof of the building, and a coin was found at the site, identical to the one in the May crime. It's likely linked to April and May's cases. My fingerprints were found at the scene, and all the people present perished, so much is still unknown about the case. Explosive residues were found, but they were from easily obtainable components. A school festival had been held recently, so determining suspects has been difficult. Afterwards, the group calling itself Adonis uploaded a video in mid-June. Absolutely. They were children, Adonis. They were children. A dedicated investigations office in Shinjuku Station was set up to handle X-day cases. I heard countless dissenting opinions. Was it necessary to judge so many at once? I asked the question many times myself. It was absolutely necessary. There wasn't any point in merely sacrificing one or two of the transgressors. There are not minor sins and major ones. All sinners must get the same punishment. Furthermore, in order to create the ideal world, a lot more sorrow will be required. We must rid ourselves of this ambivalence. And beginning of chapter 3. Alright, if God really knows everything and can help, why does he have to give all these sufferings, like people being abused and in hardships and stuff? He can easily take it out. He can. But the thing of it is, Sam, humans have free will. And people use those free wills negatively. And God wants us to freely choose him. He doesn't want robots. He wants people who choose him. And unfortunately, because of sin in the world, that's why they're suffering. That's why Jesus had to come and die on the cross and rise again. Because that's the only way that we can be with him forever. But we can rest assured that he has overcome the world. Illness is unfortunately just a part of life. It's an unfortunate reality. It's an unfortunate thing, and people who are using and the abusive and hardships like bullying and stuff like that, that part of it comes from a misuse of free will. That part comes from the fact you did try to choose him, but people didn't accept you much and you don't know how to get through it. And see, that's the thing, is that Jesus said that when people hate you, remember that it hated me first. So if you truly believe in him and people are leaving you because of that, if people are saying, oh, you're a Christian, I can't be friends with you anymore, that shows me they have more of an issue with Jesus than they do with you. And it's hard, believe me. Somebody I considered a best friend for 5 years ended our friendship. I don't fully know why. I've accepted that I will likely never know why. But they're Christian followers too. Huh. Well, I'm sorry that that's been your experience with other Christians. I hope that that's never, ever, ever been your experience here. But it's one of those things where people are people. The only people that have ever hurt you were Christians. Wow. Oh, there we go. The problem of pain, we highly recommend. We live in a fallen world, which is why there's suffering. I think one distinction is God allows us to go through suffering, but he's not the source of it. Suffering comes from sin and the enemy who hates humanity and wants us to suffer. Jesus came so we would have life and have life abundantly. Yeah, C.S. Lewis is so good. People have different views on things. That is true too. That is true too. Sometimes you feel like it's all the same belief, but why it had to be so different in understanding from each other. A lot of that is a difference in interpretation as well. It could, yeah, that is a complicated yet simple question. It's like if we could all just get along, that would be great. Well, okay, you have to weigh in. You have a friend who went through something similar. You think folks are well-meaning, and while their message or words might be true, the way one says something often has more weight than the truth of the message. That is true. That is a very, very good point, Mabius. In fact, let's go to just chatting for a minute. We'll still play the game in a minute, but I want to make sure... Yeah, you can be right, but still be insensitive in your approach. Exactly. Exactly. And a lot of the times, it's not what we say, but how it's said. And so, it's a difference in A, how people interpret the same piece of information, but B, how it's said. That is a good point too, because if you don't know the person well, they will not receive that same piece of feedback the same way. Exactly. Not all people who claim to be Christian actually walk with Jesus. Walking with Jesus should lead to a transformed life, but we can still stumble along the way. And there's a verse about that. There we go. Matthew 7:21. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. So we can claim to be Christian, then completely not represent Christ well, and that's another example of free will. But Soul's right. Walking with Jesus should lead to a transformed life. And the more that we walk with him, the more we'll become like him. You got told by someone that you'll be free of sickness and all these pains if you chose to be with someone in life or heaven. If you change yourself. Yeah, no. That is not true at all. We were never promised a life free from pain. We've never been promised that being married or living life a certain way will lead to a perfect life. God accepts us as we are, but he also loves us enough to not let us stay the way we were. He loves us enough to make us more like him every day, and he wants to be with us. But we were never promised an easy life. While the Bible does talk about certain topics and God being against such things is not going to be heard, if one's message is God hates gays, where in my reading the Bible has spoken against the physical act but never says she or he who does such things is themselves an abomination. I don't know about that. I know there are people who really, really struggle. I know that I do believe that the sin is in the act, not the, like, if in general there's the temptation and the acting on said temptation. Jesus himself was tempted. Jesus himself was tempted, but he never acted on that temptation. He fought back against that temptation with scripture. So there's that. A life free from pain is only possible when one is reunited with their Savior in heaven. Exactly. Exactly. You just don't want to be someone for the sake of others' acceptance, you know? Like, I agree I can't always be myself and I get frequent triggers, but I can't control it, and when I try to convey that, they want to make me change from making things up and seek Jesus for help. Are you talking about your multiple personalities? Alright, we're going to go back into the game screen. while West types out what he's gonna say. It was cold, but it was also warm for some reason. I felt strange, as if half of me was wrapped up in a blanket. What's this? I felt something bony at the back of my neck, and as I was about to roll over...
いい加減起きろ、バカ猫。
Huh? My shoulders shook, startled by hearing that voice at such close range. I nervously opened my eyes and...
随分とよく寝てたな。
Sasazuka?
俺以外の誰に見えるんだよ。あ、
Huh? How? Why?
それはこっちのセリフだ。ま、なんとなくは把握したけど。
My memories from last night came into focus. That's right. I just fell asleep. Sorry. I was... Then the lock. And suddenly...
いいからさっさと起きろ。
Your disorder, your relationship status, just you as a person in general. I will say you being single has nothing whatsoever to do with your relationship with God. I have never been in a relationship with anybody. I've gone out on a handful of dates, but it never resulted in a relationship, and that does not make me any less of a believer. Do I hope to be in a relationship one day? Absolutely. Is that a desire I have? Absolutely. But the fact that I'm single does not mean that I'm any less of a believer. That conversation is between you and God, and frankly, no one else has a right to an opinion because they haven't lived your life. And people forget that God will accept anyone, anywhere, anytime. Western evangelism has forgotten Christian compassion. That is a good point. But the other side of the coin is compassion in the there's we can approach that topic compassionately. But the other side of the coin is, will they accept it as compassion? So, but you are right that God accepts anyone, anywhere, anytime. I mean, that is society's expectation, Sam, but we're not necessarily guaranteed that. That's something that Soul has reminded me of, because she and I are both single. We've both never been in a relationship. It's something that we both desire, but it's something we've talked about a lot, is that we are never guaranteed that relationship. And it doesn't necessarily mean that something is wrong with us, because I've had that thought process. I've thought that too. That is something where, to me, not being in a relationship means that there's something either I or the person that God has for me, or both, are needing to mature in order to be ready. It could be, hey, I need to shake up my routine. It could be, I'm not meant to be in a relationship, you know? And it's one of those things where, you know, to me, it does not mean that anything is wrong with me now. I've come to accept that there are two people in a relationship. If one or both are not in a spot where they're ready for that relationship, then that relationship isn't going to happen, you know? And so, exactly, perhaps me and future Mister just aren't ready for each other yet. There could be any number of reasons for that. Exactly. Exactly. You are loved by a living God who can change you, but it's by no means. It can be painful, and that it can be hard. There's a skit by the Skit Guys called God's Chisel. I do agree it is not forced, because God is going to look at you and he's going to be like, control chisel, control chisel, control chisel. He's not going to force the chisel, but he hopes that you choose the chisel. He hopes that you choose to let him make you more and more like him. I agree with you too, Soul, but God does not hate his creation. He hates the presence of sin that keeps us from being with him and being who he made us to be. Exactly. Yeah, we can move on if it's too touchy of a subject. Oh, that is a good point, West. That is a good point. Sometimes therapy is needed, and it doesn't make you any less of a person. It just makes you a person who needs to talk things out with somebody who can help you process it, who's been trained to help you process it and put tools in your tool belt to help you. Yes. I jumped up as if I was launched.
腕がしびれて感覚ねえわ。中身がカラカラでも人の頭って重いよな。
He just called us an airhead. I'm really sorry. How long have you been awake, by the way?
お前が起きるちょっと前。
Oh, that's good.
いびきと歯ぎしりがうるさくて。
Huh? No way.
ま、嘘。
25 years of attending church, and that was the one and only time you've heard a Christian authority figure say that. I think that is... I think a lot of it is there was a stigma. And to a certain extent, there still is a stigma attached to seeking mental health resources. And I think that is changing, and it's changing dramatically. Sasazuka! His lies were bad for my health. As I angrily stared at him, Sasazuka just remained calm.
言っとくけど、俺の腕枕は高いぞ。
What? That's not how it happened.
不本意ながらな。でも先にもらうもんはもらっといたから許してやる。
What? I had a very bad feeling about this, so it was almost a whisper when it escaped my lips. Sasazuka flashed a suggestive smile. Hey, how's it going, Joe boy?
再現してほしいわけ。
There's your hydration. See, Sam, that's the stigma surrounding it, is that therapy... The stigma is that therapy makes you weak, when in reality, therapy makes you strong. Like Mabius just said, in spite of the stigma associated with therapy, sometimes we need a little, quote-unquote, outside help. It's nobody's fault what we're going through, like how our brain works. It's nobody's fault. It's a result of multiple things. It's a result of just a lot of different things, and sometimes we need help thinking through that. And therapy is not weakness. It is a sign that you recognize that you need tools in your tool belt. That you need exactly seeking help or therapy. You're strong and wise. Because we're not meant to do life alone, and sometimes, excuse me, sometimes we need that help. Exactly. There's nothing wrong with praying over that area of your life, of saying, hey God, this is the burden I am bearing. I am bearing this. I feel like I'm going it alone. I feel like this is too much for me. Please help me. There's nothing wrong with that. Paul says in Romans, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. But a well-trained mental health professional can help provide tools. Nothing wrong with using the resources he's made available to us. It's no different than going to a doctor, or going to a teacher, or going to a pastor. We have all these different resources, and they're there to help. God gave these people a brain to understand these aspects for a reason. It sounds to me like maybe you just haven't found a therapist that's a good fit. I don't know. I haven't sat in on those therapy sessions. All I have is your like what you took away from it. And so if they didn't give you the tools, then that's when you find another therapist. And it sounds like you've tried that over and over and over. Ooh. Have you sent me stuff from them? Because I feel like I recognize that username. What? Sasazuka? I thought so. I thought I recognized that username. No way! I was certain he was just teasing me. That must have been it. Of course, Sasazuka wasn't helping by not denying anything. It's a lie. You're kidding, right? I opted not to pursue the matter any further and decided that I needed to place priority on the deadline. That's not even enough time to wash my face. I didn't even have the courage to check what my face looked like after I fell asleep without taking off my makeup. I kept my mind empty, and then I had put on my boots and was making my way out the door. Sasazuka looked up from his watch. This didn't feel like real life. I shivered from the cold morning again and sighed. I think I have enough time to get home, actually. I had time to take a shower, make breakfast for Kazuki, and then I would just barely make it to work on time. Even still, I still couldn't believe I let myself lay there and ended up falling asleep. The thought of it humiliated me. Stop thinking about it. If I slowed down at all, the thoughts resurfaced, so I basically started moving at a trot. Anyways, I should forget about it. once I finally got home, my face was so stiff that when Kazuki came out of his room, he was so shocked that he asked if another incident had occurred. I told him nothing had happened, and sighed once again. When I got to the agency, the TV was on.
お、タケル、いいとこに来たな。
なんだ。8日の焼死事件の容疑者が指名手配された。菅原理香で。お前も覚えがある。
I thought so, because I was like, wait a minute. She never mentioned going to the agency unless we time warped. By the way, how's it going, Joe boy? I hope you're doing well. I just realized I never asked how you're doing. My bad. I'd glanced at the television at their behest. I'd definitely seen that face in the past.
指名手配されたのは菅原理香25歳の会社員とのことです。なお、菅原については
Ooh, a praise report. Do tell.
死事件でも関与が疑われており、警察では菅原の足取りを追うとともに
Yeah, I thought so. I was like, is that this is the end of a scene, or is this a point of view change? Because it could have been either one, or both.
7月の事件でストーカー被害者として現場にいたものだ。
確かにあれだけ美人だったらストーカーされてもおかしくない。俺のタイプじゃないけどな。
そういう問題じゃねえよ、バカ。
分かってるっての。でも7月だったら容疑者はもう捕まってんじゃん。
ああ、正当防衛を主張して裁判中だったが、菅原の容疑が固まったとなると流れはまた変わってくるだろうな。笹塚、警察内部の動きはどうなってる？わかんねえ。どういうことだ？峯岸の嫌がらせ。
I didn't really want to talk about it, but I gave them a bare bones explanation. I told them about Minagishi asking me to rejoin the force, him raising the security level at the station, and how it was a pain for me to hack in.
昨べ突破したセキュリティホールも今朝には塞がってた。
Last week you had prayed for strength or something. You don't recall now. Cut to this morning. You were scrolling through reels on Instagram. There was one of those ads for Threads that was strictly pornographic. You were able to scroll through and not seek further images. You don't think this was a willpower kind of thing, but strength from the Lord. Praise God! That's fantastic, Mabius! That is fantastic! I am so proud of you for praying for that, praying for help in that area of your life, and I am so proud of you for recognizing that that's the hand of God in your life. Because that kind of temptation is one of those temptations that, like with any addiction, it lies in wait for when you think you have it beat. And so I pray that you continue to press into God and the strength that He gave you. Because we were never promised. Now, see, here's another verse that people tend to not get the full meaning of. 1 Corinthians 10:13. No temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond your ability, but with the temptation He will provide the way of escape, that you may be able to endure it. Now, notice, Who is providing the way of escape? God is. So what this verse is saying is that we don't have the strength on our own to fight those temptations. What he's saying is he will not tempt us beyond what we're able to bear with his help. That is what he's saying. Think of Joseph. Think of Joseph when Potiphar's wife tried to tempt him. He saw the way of escape that God gave him and bolted out of there. You know, he knew. This is God, giving me a way out. And I'm proud of you for recognizing that. And yeah, if you need to shut down those social media accounts other than maybe Discord so that you can keep up, keep in touch with us, definitely do it. You had to put in some annoyingly aggressive blockers on your network, like you accidentally broke YouTube inside your apartment at one point. Oh, wow! Oh, wow! You could do, like West did, you could do some ad blockers, because that might help. You spent years in a cycle of sin, repent, repeat. Of sin, repent on your own until you realize you can't do it on your own. Exactly. If that's what you need to do, do it. You've had to shut down social media for mental health reasons. Exactly. And accountability partners. Yes. Hey, Shorty, how's it going? It's almost time for our ad break. So I'm going to put a bit of a pause once the ad comes. I will catch up on chat once we get back. This conversation is so good. So good. And yes, I definitely agree accountability partners can help. It's a lot more than ad blockers. You have a VM just for blocking. Oh, wow. And yeah, TikTok. That's another one. I tend to scroll TikTok a lot. Probably shouldn't as much as I do. Alright, you guys. Ads are about to hit, so I'm going to go to BRB, and I will see you guys in just a minute. Alright, you guys, thank you so much for sitting through those ads. Your wife very kindly asked you to spend less time, so you just deleted the dang thing and haven't looked back. Hey, there you go. There you go. Sometimes we just get so caught up in the doom scrolling that we don't realize how much time has passed. I'm working on not doing that before bed, because then I fall asleep. It's happened twice now where I've fallen asleep and woken up in the middle of the night to the same video still playing because I was scrolling TikTok before bed and fell asleep.
時間をかければ突破はできるけど、どうせ同じことの繰り返しになるから、めんどくさくて放置してる。
Ooh, that's a good point, Soul. Biggest one is spending time in scripture daily. You came across a study within the past week showing that people who spend time in the Word at least 4 times a week were far less likely to be tempted in those areas or suffer from anxiety and depression. Hi, Ellie. Long time no see. I'm doing well. Right, Mabius? Like, I've totally been there. In fact, that was just last night. I woke up at like 4 this morning. Paused the video. Or maybe it was sometime between midnight and 4 o'clock this morning. My brain woke me up to a video playing. I had to pause or turn off the video, and then I fell back asleep until about 6:30ish to go to the bathroom. And so, yeah. By the way, Soul, how do you like what are your thoughts on the James study, the James group study? It's okay if you haven't had a chance to even look at it. I just love the feedback that Francis Chan does. You've woken up to some very strange videos before. I believe it. I think I have too. Woke up to a random Dusty Thunder Am I the Jerk clip. Oh man. Some of those Am I the Jerk posts, I swear they've gotta be AI. Like, they just feel so AI, because I'm like, there's no way. There is no way. You know? Once a week made a little difference. 2 to 3 times showed some marginal improvement, but nothing to write home about. 4 days minimum was where the difference became markedly different. That adds up, because then it's becoming a habit. That's becoming a habit, and you're retraining your brain. Just stopped by to steal Sam away from you guys because of tests and stuff. Yeah, no worries. You've started a couple, had the notifications turned off on your phone, so didn't notice when it had started. That's okay. I just love what Francis Chan, like, his take on the different sections. I actually ended up pausing it just because of life getting busy, and so you are not the only one that hasn't gotten fully caught up yet. I'm only on day 6 myself, so some of those who helped you feel blessed to have the parents and in-laws that you do. Yes, exactly. There are so many blessings in life. Right? The ones that I've seen have been so good. I absolutely love Francis Chan. Love it. Love it. Love his stuff. Oh, yes. Our mentality when making plans really hit home. Yes, because it was one of those things that it's such a great reminder. I believe so. I know for sure it's on Right Now Media. I know for sure he's on the study is on there. I don't know about YouTube. But if you look up Francis Chan, let me type this in chat for you. There you go, Francis Chan James Study. That should take you to where we are. And he breaks James down into sections. Because I think he took like 2 or 3 videos just to go through chapter 1, because there's just so much there. And then another 2 to 3 videos for chapter 2, because there is so much stuff there. And it really, to me, his study on our mentality when making plans, I loved that because it was a great reminder of, I forget what verse it is, but there's a verse in, I think, Proverbs that says, in his heart a man plans his ways, but the Lord directs his steps. And so this really harkened back to that of, yeah, we can make all the plans we want. We can have our dreams. There's nothing wrong with having those dreams and goals. But God is the one that brings them to fruition. So we should, instead of saying, this is what I'm going to do, we should be saying, if this is what God wants, this is what I'll do. And I loved that. Ooh, you should totally make a comment on that. And yes, I hadn't even made that Jonah connection. That is so true, because Jonah was like, no, God, I don't want that plan that you have for me to go to Nineveh. I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to go to Tarshish.
うるせえ。ただのバカよりマシだ。俺はバカじゃねえ。
榎本、ちょっと黙ってろ。
ウィス。
さすが。それで、お前はどうする？
どうもこうも、今のとこ見てない。なんだよ。ただのワカメのままでいいのか？お前らしくねえじゃん。いたちごっこに付き合うのもバカらしいし、峯岸の思い通りになってやるのもムカつく。
つまり、復職はないってことか。
気に入らなくて辞めたとこに戻るメリットないから。確かに情報を拾うのに手間はかかるけど、今はあのバカ猫がいる分マシ。
そうか。
それより柳さん、ちょっと話あるんだけど。
なんだ
6月の中学爆破事件で容疑かかってたセラ・アキトって覚えてる？
いじめで自殺した女生徒の遺族か。
そう、兄貴。そいつが星野の弟のダチだった。へえ、星野って弟いたんだ。プラス星野弟が入ってるバンドのボーカルが一色康弘。
一式って
さすがに偶然じゃないと思う。俺的にはセラの方が黒っぽい。
理由は？
妹のこと露骨に引きずってるから。あとは顔。
Sounds good, Mabius. You get that corner clean. I believe in you.
笹塚の勘か。
とりあえず星野使って接点作る。うまくすれば情報取れると思うし。
Right? I caught that, Sasazuka. I caught that. he does not want to admit at all that he likes her. I don't know that he recognizes that, because he isn't used to that feeling, and so maybe he just isn't able to identify it, you know? Maybe that's what it is.
つまり、俺は意識を張ればいいのか？
そういうこと頼んでいい？
分かった。俺も今は手詰まりだ。少しでも事件に絡む可能性があるなら、無駄足にはならない。
Just as expected of Yanagi, if this man wasn't here, then I wouldn't have joined this agency.
話が見えねえ。
Ah. He recognizes it to some extent, but isn't ready to come to terms with it yet. That could be too. That very well could be too. He's usually pretty intelligent and perceptive. But the question is he emotionally aware? Because there's a difference between book smart and emotion smart, you know? He's very, 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 very book smart, and like you said, he can be perceptive. But the question is he emotionally intelligent? And does he recognize those emotions in himself? And that's what I'm not so sure of. You're pretty sure he knows it's there. You think he purposefully puts it at the back of his mind and refuses to look at it. I could see that too. I could see that too, where he's like, this isn't going to serve me well. I'm going to compartmentalize that to the furthest back file in my brain. And I will only pull it out when all these other files have been gone through. I could see him doing that. I'm really glad that you're here, Yanagi. I mean it.
おいタケル、お前今すごく俺に失礼なこと考えたろ。
No?
バカにバカって感想を抱くのは失礼じゃねえ。当然の反応だ。
Excuse me. Book smart, yes, but his perceptive nature makes me think that he intentionally compartmentalizes it. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I could definitely see that. I could see it kind of going either way. Mostly because of the whole emotional intelligence. But he has pointed out in the past noticing things like that, so maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Yeah, we're gonna go with your theory of him intentionally compartmentalizing it.
俺の人権というわけで柳さんよろしく。これ一応一式の連絡先。出入りしてるライブハウスはここ。
ああ、わかった。
そして流れるように無視。
As I disregarded the idiot's yells, I quickly finished sharing information on the most recent incidents with Yanagi. It was mostly regarding the description of the building the other day, and the way the coin at the scene matched.
すいません。二人とも俺の存在忘れてませんか?
My cell phone had a message notification. It's from Ichika Hoshino. Are you free tonight? I was able to invite Akito to dinner. We're eating at my house.
やるじゃん、バカ猫。
どうした？
セラと接触できる。とりあえず軽く揺さぶりかけてみるから。
I'll join up for the dinner. Text me the time later. Once I texted my reply and put my phone away, Yanagi got serious.
踏み込みすぎるな。星野のクリアのこともある。慎重に行動してくれ。
わかってる。いいよ、どうせ俺なんか仲間じゃないんだ。ミネオ。どうした？ついにこのミネオ様の出番が来たか。ドーナツ買ってこい。腹減った。
I handed him some money and patted his head and sat at my PC desk. Oh, Sasazuka, you and your donuts. You and your donuts.
柳先輩！
悪いな、榎本。俺は鮭のおにぎりで頼む。
かしこまりました！
Poor Enomoto being an errand boy. Oh. I tried to ignore the comedy act behind me and booted up my PC.
ミネオのバカに比べたらあいつ十分役に立ってるよな。
Granted, it was a pretty low bar to clear, but for me to compliment her was still high praise.
笹塚、 そうだな。
As Yanagi tried to conceal his laughter, I hesitated on how I wanted to respond.
ぼちぼち。
I didn't feel the need to disagree for now. I finished up my work as fast as I could and headed towards the meeting point. Sorry for keeping you waiting.
待たせたことより、俺にスーパーでネギ買わせたことを謝れ。
What? You told me to tell you if I needed groceries to pick up.
誰があんな生活感丸出しの買い物頼まれると思うかい。
It's for hot pot. It obviously needs to have green onions.
鍋に文句言ってんじゃねえよ。くそ。やっぱお前なんか褒めてやらなきゃよかった。
What?
なんでもねえ。
Or what? Sasazuka sighed as he handed me the bag from the supermarket.
セラはもうお前の家にいるのか。
Yes, Kazuki contacted me. But,
なんだよ。
I didn't tell him that you were coming with me. You're gonna shake down Mrs. Cosmo for lunch? Oh, it is getting close to lunchtime. And over on the East Coast, it's definitely lunchtime. What do you think you'll have for lunch? Ooh, and wrapping presents. I love it. I love it. 'Tis the season for wrapping presents. I didn't because I didn't know how to explain what my relationship with Sasazuka was. Kazuki's kind of shy around people he hasn't met before, so I couldn't tell him.
ああ、そんなのどうとでもなるだろう。とりあえずタクシー拾うぞ。
Ah, yes. Ah, gotcha. What's been a go-to?
お前も普通にしてろ。
Now you want Hot Pot? The fact that this game also takes place in December? It's a good fit. Exactly! I hadn't even thought about that. But you're right. So what all is in Hot Pot? Because I don't know if I've had Hot Pot. Act normal, huh?
そう。普通に飯作って弟の友達を歓迎。それ以外は何もしなくていい。余計なこと考えるとボロ出しそうだしな、お前。
I can't deny that. If this was just a work matter, it might be a different story. But with my brother and his friend, it would be a difficult task. Alright, I'll just stick to your plan. What are you going to do?
俺も基本様子見。ただ、どこかでセラと二人だけで話す時間が欲しい。
Usually just some sandwiches, but sometimes we like to splurge and dine out while things 1 through 3 are at school. I love it! I love it! What kind of sandwiches are your favorite? I love a good ham and cheese sandwich. Ham and cheese is the best. Ooh, a good stew. Yes, with the weather being the way it has, stew sounds great. Chilly and cloudy outside. Let's see, what is the weather like right now? 53 and gonna be partly cloudy, but currently it's sunny. Still have Cosmo Jr. to deal with, but it's definitely easier than having all of them. I agree. The more... I think it's always nice just to have time, you and your wife, you know? Especially if the kids are at school, you know? There's family time, but then there's also got to be you guys' time, you know?
タイミング見計らって誘導するから、お前は気づいたらフォローしろ。ハンマ期待してる。
Ooh, 81 and sunny. It is currently 53, but feels like 59. I'll try. What are you going to do, or what are you going to talk about with Akito?
別。
There are different types, but it typically involves communally cooking meat in a broth. You've seen it before in anime, I'm sure. One scene in Oran comes to mind. Ah, okay. Oh, I think I know which episode you're talking about. The episode where they all go grocery shopping? We typically refuse to participate in winter. That is true. One of my best online friends recently moved to Florida, and she's like, "We've got beach weather," and I'm like, "Heck yeah, beach weather!" High of 46 where you're at? Oh boy. A shared stew. Yeah, that makes sense. That's kind of what I remember. It's just been a little bit since I've seen Oran, so I didn't necessarily think of it. I need to watch that again. Yeah, I definitely need to watch it again at some point. Alrighty, sounds good, Shorty. You enjoy lunch. While saying that, he poked his own neck with his index finger. Once I realized what he meant, I was silent and nodded. It was a topic he didn't want to be heard by the person on the other end of the collar.
ああ、ネギくせ。
Just hold out a little longer. I'm home. At the front door, Kazuki's shoes and whatnot appeared, and what appeared to be Akito's shoes were lined up. I took off my boots and pushed them aside and gave Sasazuka some slippers to wear. It's a small place, but welcome to my house.
いちか、遅い。
Oh, Kazuki. Sorry. I'll make dinner soon.
誰？そいつ。
This is...
笹塚健。こいつの彼氏。
Oh, he jumps right to it. Oh, I love it. I love it.
は？
What?
彼ってなんでお前まで驚いてんだよ。
Yes, yes I am. I'm surprised you went there. Huh? Because
恥ずかしいから黙ってて。
your wife is getting notifications from the postal service for a gift you bought her. You told her no peeking. I love it. I love it. I love that. My mom gets notifications from the post office as well. She gets like a summary every, like, at least once a day. I think it's once a day. I thought it was more... I thought it was, I don't know, less frequent than that. But, so she gets notifications as well in her email.
お前が和樹。 よろしくな、弟。
That is true. They needed a believable cover to have him there, so he went the best path. That is true. That is true. Yeah. I almost wonder if he could have gone with a different path of, yeah, I just moved here and she was kind enough to invite me over. Right? Definitely kudos to him for pulling it off so smoothly. That's for sure. That is for sure. Because he could have gone with, like, I just moved to town. Our paths crossed at the grocery store, and she was kind enough to invite me over after finding out I'm new to town. And figured this would work. While Sasazuka was perfectly calm, the two Hoshino siblings were flabbergasted. That is true. I guess it is definitely way more believable. Although I would not put it past Ichika to invite somebody that she... Well, no, because of everything going on in Shinjuku, she wouldn't be as open to that. In other... Like, if everything in Shinjuku was normal and there wasn't anything as far as, you know, all the X-Day things and things like that, I could easily see her going... I could see her inviting somebody who had just moved to town to the house for dinner, being like, hey, you've got a friend in me, kind of a thing. I could easily see that happening if it wasn't for the X-Day stuff. So I guess you're right, in this particular situation, this is a lot more believable. Then...
和樹、お姉さん帰ってきたの？
Akito remembered seeing Sasazuka from the concert in Frozen Place. Oh, that's right, the concert! He would have seen him at the concert. Well, I guess either way, he could have gone with the, hey, just moved to town and she invited me over because she's my first friend in town. I'm pretty impressed that Sasazuka is able to keep this act up. This is Akito Sera. He's my brother's friend, and...
俺は笹塚健。よろしくな。ちなみにこれの彼氏。
Oh, that's a good point. Single women in Japan probably wouldn't invite a relative stranger into her home either, you don't think? Ah, that is true. I guess I just thought that with her, like, if it wasn't for the X-Day stuff, I thought maybe with her, you know, knowing, hey, I'm not home alone. I've got Kazuki and Akito. I could see her being like, hey, you know, it's not like she's inviting him and it would be just the two of them. That I could see kind of being more of a no-no. But with it being her and her brother, if it wasn't for X-Day, yeah.
あ、そうなんですか。おい、イチカ、どういうことなんだよ。なんでこんなやつ。
Kazuki.
っていうか玄関先でする話でもねえだろ。さっさと中に通せ。
Oh, yes. Sorry.
イチカ。
Let's just go inside for now, okay? Kazuki? As if to push past Kazuki's discontent, we pressed on into the living room. Yeah, that's true too. That is true too. everyone take a seat. I'll go prepare the hot pot.
あ、俺も手伝います。
Huh? We're supposed to be thanking you, so I can't allow you to help.
そうだよ。アキトが手伝う必要なんか。おい、腹減った。30分以内。
Yes. With that, I rushed into the kitchen. Sorry, Akito. Tonight I'd make chicken meatball hot pot. I would finish it off with salt and pepper and some ramen noodles. Ooh, that sounds good. A chicken meatball hot pot with salt and pepper and ramen. Chef's kiss. I'd make a few hors d'oeuvres so people could nibble while they waited.
てめえ、何勝手に座ってんだ。
That is true. He went with the most believable story, and though he would deny it, I'm sure part of him is enjoying the situation. That is a good point. He's enjoying watching Ichika squirm.
逆に譲れよ。俺も動く気ねえから。うるせえ、どけ。カズキ、こっちなら俺たち並んで座れるし。 笹塚さんがそっちでもいいんじゃない？
I leave this to you, Akito. I cut the vegetables for the hot pot. Then I chopped the green onions that Sasazuka bought for me. I rinsed it all for a bit in the strainer. Then it came time to make the hot pot soup base.
おい。なんか言うことねえのかよ。なんかってなんだよ。イチカの男なんだろ。弟に初めて会った。
Right? That is a very good point Kazuki's making.
はじめまして、弟よ。なんならお兄様って呼べ。誰が呼ぶかよ。カズキ落ち着こう。 ここで揉めたらお姉さんに悪いよ。
Thank you, Akito. As I pounded the chicken breast meat, I checked on my time limit while I inspected the now boiling soup. At this rate, I'm going to run out of time before I finish this. I tried to ignore the other room completely and focused entirely on cooking. Dinner's done. Kazuki, put the stove out on the table for me.
はあ、自分でやれよ。あ、俺やります。コンロどこですか?
Well, this is true. They were bound to butt heads because of their personalities. But at the same time, you would think... I guess I see his point, Kazuki's point of... Hey, this is our first time meeting and you're treating me like this? And you're supposedly my sister's boyfriend? This is not a good first impression. I could definitely see his point.
アキトは座ってろ。そう。今回だけだから。
Thanks. The boiling hot pot was ready to be eaten. All that was left was to set the plates and the hors d'oeuvres, and dinner was ready.
鍋持ってってやる。
Huh? Are you okay with doing that?
腹減ったし、お前こけそうだし。
I'm not that clumsy.
どけ。
It is rather amusing to watch, and Kazuki was definitely not wrong. I definitely agree there on both counts. It's funny to watch as they're like, what, right. Kazuki.
持ってくから。邪魔。
As Kazuki grabbed the pot holder, Sasazuka and I quickly stepped aside. At the moment he passed by with the pot, I thought he was glaring at Sasazuka for some reason, but...
わかりやすい反抗期だな。
Oh yeah, very much so. Sorry. If you don't mind, could you take this plate over there?
はあ、自分で持ってこい。
Sasazuka and Kazuki had pretty similar personalities. They definitely do. I kept my observation to myself. Because there were only 2 of us living here, we didn't have that wide of a table. With 4 people, the table was overcrowded, and that just added to the obvious tension that was in the room. All right, let's eat.
いただきます。いただきます。いただきます。
I love how reluctant he is to say it. Sorry, Akito, I couldn't make anything fancy since I just got off work and I didn't have much time.
そんなことないですよ。鍋なんて久しぶりで嬉しいです。それにお姉さんの料理美味しいんで、実はたまに和樹のお弁当のおかずもらったりしてるんです。
Really?
たまにだよ。秋とのお世辞真に受けんじゃねえぞ。お世辞じゃないよ。それに和樹だって好きなおかずの時は俺に絶対分けてくれないじゃん。余計なこと言うな。
I figured I could be happy about that. I chose to view it that way. Sasazuka, can you eat it?
食ってる。暑いから冷めんの待ってるだけ。
Did you get cat's tongue?
少しな。だっせ。
Kazuki!
ほっとけ。ガキの言うことにいちいち反応する方が無駄。誰がガキだって。
I mean, Sasazuka's not wrong. You gotta pick your battles.
まあまあ。そんなことより、お姉さんって和樹のギター聞いたことはありますか？
Huh?
おい、アキト。ごめん。でもせっかくだから、和樹のギターすごいんですよ。プロの人からお墨付きもらえるくらいに。
Really? I already knew all of this, including which professional he made reference to, but I had to act like I didn't know. Sasazuka was looking disgusted, but Kazuki didn't appear to be paying any attention. I'm not sure if it was because he was embarrassed, but he just turned away and muttered.
別に俺のギターは普通。それだったらアキトの作曲の方がすごい。
What? Akito, you're a music composer?
さあ、少しかじってる程度ですよ。そんなことねえよ。アキトの曲は一色さんだって認めてるし。一色？
It seemed like Kazuki didn't want to make Ishiki a topic of conversation among us. I wonder if it's because he doesn't want me to know that he's in a band. I just pretended not to notice and steered the conversation back. I'd like to hear Kazuki's guitar, but I also want to hear Akito's songs sometimes too, or sometime too.
俺のはともかく、和樹のギターならちょうどいいのがありますよ。は、おい、アキト。実はついこの間、和樹がライブに出たんです。その時の音源持ってきたんで、よかったら聞いてやってください。すごく良かったんですよ。
As he said that, Akito handed me a white recordable CD. He had a mischievous look, probably because of our shared secret from that night. Thanks so much, Akito. I'll listen to it sometime.
どうせ聞いたってわかんねえよ。
That's not true.
お前、普段音楽なんて聞かねえじゃん。
It's true that I don't know too much about music, but I'll listen to anything you're playing.
それ後で俺にも聞かせろ。
Oh, okay.
なんでてめえが聞くんだよ。
好奇心。
はあ
Sasazuka was living in America for a while, so he's interested in some music like rock and other things.
そうなんですか。
まあそこそこ。
ちょっと英語喋れる程度で偉そうにすんなよ。
別にしてねえけど、英語コンプレックスあるなら勉強すれば。
ねえよコンプレックスなんか。
あっそ。おい、団子と白滝、あと俺のネギ。
Yes, I'll get it. I grabbed the plate he held out and got what he wanted from the hot pot without thinking.
亭主関白のつもりかよ。
Huh?
お前も何命令通りにしてんだよ。自分で取らせろよそれくらい。
Did you want something too, Kazuki?
そういう意味じゃねえよ。
何お前シスコン？
誰が？
だったら黙ってろよ。自分の女を自分の女扱いして何か悪いわけ。
Sasazuka? I'd prefer it if he stopped trying to throw gasoline onto the fire. Furthermore, it was bad for my heart for him to say things like, my girl.
いちかも赤くなってんじゃねえよ。
What? It's just because the hot pot is hot. Oh, you too, Sasazuka? This man was completely enjoying himself. As I stared menacingly at him, Akito decided he'd had enough and intervened. Oh, he's definitely enjoying this, for sure.
あ、何を？
お姉さんたちのこと、その馴れ初めとか。
別にそんなの気になってねえし。
単なる職場恋愛だけどな。
げ、お前みたいなのが警察官かよ。
元だけど。
Akito seems a bit shaken up. When he heard that Sasazuka was a former cop, it felt like his face tensed up a bit to me. They ate most of the food pretty quickly. As expected from the two growing boys, Sasazuka is a skinny big eater too. Honestly, just watching the three of them eat was enough to make me full.
おい、
Yes?
ちょっと出てくる。甘いもん食いたい。
Should I go get dessert?
いい。片付けあるだろ。あ、お前も付き合えよ。なんだっけ、セラ？
俺ですか。
As I stacked the plates in my hands, I felt the tension all throughout my body. Sasazuka was making his move.
おい、なんでアキトなんだよ。一人で行け。
店の場所とかわかんないし。それに、こいつも客だろ。手土産買ってくる時間なかったし、ついでだ。ありがたく思え。
思うか。アキト、こんな奴の言うこと聞かなくていいからな。
だったらお前がついてくんの？
はあ？行かねえよ。
Sasazuka's eyes looked towards me. I could tell that he wanted my help, but how should I help in this situation? Okay, so the end goal is for him to go out with Akito, so that he and Akito can talk. So the best way to do that would be to give Kazuki something else to do. So that Akito feels like he has no other choice but to go. I'm gonna go with prevent Kazuki from leaving and come up with something that we need help with at the house so that Akito has to go. Hey, Kazuki, just leave the shopping to Sasazuka and Akito. How about helping me clean this up?
はあ普通に嫌だし
Don't say that. I can't have the guests do it, right? Yes, put the boy to work. It builds character. Exactly. Exactly. And makes it where we accomplish our goal.
全然手伝いますけど
いい俺がやる
Thanks, Kazuki.
話はついたな行くぞセラ
Hey, there we go. Donna chose wisely.
あはい
And it sends Akito out with Sasazuka, so it's a win-win. Exactly. Exactly. Sasazuka left with Akito in tow and seemed to be pleased with how that went. I looked like I pulled it off.
くそムカつく
Donna did choose wisely. That makes me happy. I pretended not to hear Kazuki's mutter and quickly began to clean up the table. After the two of them left, the house was filled with an awkward silence. If you could just take the plates to the kitchen, I could take care of the rest.
いい手伝う
Really? Thank you then. Kazuki was acting kind of strange today. He overreacted to Sasazuka, and now he was helping me out like this. Maybe if now we could talk a bit. Hey, Kazuki,
何
that CD that Sarah gave me earlier. I'll make sure that I listen to it.
別に興味ねえもの無理して聞いてくれなくてもいい
Don't say that. I told you before, if you're playing it, then I want to hear it.
今まで俺が部屋でギター弾いててもうるせえだの近所迷惑だのしか言わなかったくせに
That can't be helped. Honestly, I was worried that it might be loud enough to disturb the neighbors. But I've never been against you playing the guitar.
嘘くせえ
What if it's the truth? As I stacked the plates on top of the table, I thought that maybe I could say what I wanted. It was something that I had been thinking ever since I saw Kazuki performing on stage. As I watched Kazuki play the guitar so joyfully, so happy, so energetically, I felt like I had seen a vision of the future. Kazuki, do you want to have a music career? Kazuki looked at me as if he was surprised. Was the reason you insisted on going to school in Tokyo was so that you could make music? Kazuki eyes wandered. Tim! Tim the terrible typist. Kazuki's eyes wandered as he hesitated to give me an answer. But soon he stared back at me with eyes that had a clear fire.
そうだって言ったらどうすんだ親父たちにチクるのか
I wouldn't do that.
お前だって俺が実家のペンション継ぐの当たり前みたいに思ってたんだろ
I won't deny that. I'm pretty sure the family thought the same thing. But that was only because all of us thought that's what you intended to do.
俺は一度もそんなこと言ってね
Tim was not properly caffeinated for this route. Exactly. He needs somebody like holding his hand, sitting there in the wee hours of the morning, watching him as he types. Yeah, you're right. That's why I want to listen to you now.
はあ
I've never really had a conversation with you about this, but if you're seriously thinking about your future, then I want to support you.
みちこ
Of course, it's not like my feelings are going to be the determining factor for everything, but if music is your dream and you're working hard at it, I want to cheer you on. He's like, teen angst does not compute with this. Maybe you're wondering why I feel this now. It's because I'm your big sister.
なんなんだよ急に薄気味悪い
Maybe it's thanks to Akito.
アキト
Yeah, I think he's been the one cheering you on up until this point. I think Akito is really worried about you and he wanted me to understand your dreams. So that's why he gave me that CD. It'd be strange if your actual big sister didn't cheer you on, right? Then, for some reason, Kazuki looked down with a somewhat dour expression.
アキトは本当にすごいやつなんだ俺なんかよりずっと才能あるあいつの作る曲がプロレベルだと思うしあいつだって音楽やりたいはずなんだなのになんでかわかんないけど絶対表舞台に立とうとしねえの認
I wonder if he means Yasuhiro Ishiki.
俺のことを応援してくれるばっかで俺はあいつに何も返してやれてない本当は一緒にやりたいんだアキトともう一人俺のことを認めてくれてる人と
I see. I felt very conflicted inside.
そうか俺はあいつの話を聞いてて限りなく黒に近いと思った
Sasazuka seemed to firmly believe that Akito was connected in some way to the String of X Day incidents. I didn't want to believe it, but in light of what Sasazuka told me about his sister, I couldn't just deny the possibility. I wonder what kind of things Akito and Sasazuka were discussing right now. Someday, your dream will come true. That was all I could say. Kazuki went silent for a while, but I saw him nod in agreement. I pretended not to see it and carried the stack of plates into the kitchen. As I washed the plates, Kazuki quickly dried them and put them away in the cupboard. When Kazuki first arrived in Tokyo, this sort of thing was normal for us. The reason things between us started falling apart was that my career as a police officer made me busy and I didn't have time to talk to Kazuki. As I was thinking about these things, Kazuki quietly muttered beside me.
例えば俺が音楽やりたいって夢が叶ったとして今の新宿じゃどうしようもねえじゃんこの先のことなんて考えても意味ねえ気がする
Kazuki,
学校のやつらもみんな言ってる新宿から出られないんじゃいくら勉強しても志望校にも行けないってなあ X デーが来たら俺たちどうなの
well, there wasn't anything I could say. I had no idea what the answer would be.
まいちかみたいな下っ端に行ってもしょうがねえけど
He was intentionally teasing me and his words twisted the knife. Sorry.
お前に謝ってもらっても仕方ねえしそんなことよりなんだよあの俺様男付き合うにしても他にいるんじゃねえの
Sasazuka isn't,
俺は絶対あんな奴のこと兄さんとか呼ばねえから
You don't need to call him that. After a while, Kazuki calmed down and returned to his usual self, but I still felt the pain of a figurative thorn in my side I was unable to remove. The future of so many people is depending on us solving this case. It was already December. The countdown was about to reach 0. I should really have a much greater sense of urgency right now. Not just because of the caller, but for the sake of Kazuki's dream, too. It was pretty cold outside, much different than the warm room that we were leaving. As I glanced back at Akito, he looked like he was brooding over something. Exactly! We don't need to call him that. They're not married. Yet. I assumed from the way his expression stiffened up when he heard that I was a police officer, I thought I could venture a guess.
Sasazuka-san.
When he called out to me, I was pretty much anticipating it. I purposefully turned around slowly.
もしかして最初から俺のことを知ってたんですか?
He looked at me with an air of resignation.
6月の事件が起きた頃は俺もまだ捜査本部にいたからな。だからもちろんお前にアリバイがあったことも知ってる。
でも疑ってるんですよね。
I didn't deny it. I didn't think there was a need to. Akito Sera's not an idiot. But now, everything from this point onward, I was pretty much just guessing. I heeded Yanagi's earlier directive and then went ahead and asked.
俺が気にしてんのはお前と弟の関係だ。
和樹。
お前あいつの身内に警察官がいるって分かってて近づいたのか？
違う。和樹とは純粋に音楽仲間で、それに知り合ったのは事件よりずっと前です。
事件ってどっちの？
As he swallowed a small breath, Akito's face clearly tensed up. Akito's not just tied to the June case, apparently. His role may not be limited to only that, but if these really were substitution murders, he might have revealed he was tied to other X-Day incidents. It was a question with many implications. His interpretation determined his response. I held my tongue and waited patiently for Akito's response.
和樹と親しくなったのは今年に入ってからのことです。だからあいつは何も知りません。俺もお姉さんのことを知ったのは新宿がこうなってからだったし。
That was a pretty good answer. As I'd assumed, he's not an idiot.
笹塚さんがもしお姉さんのことを心配してるんだったら、最初は警察ってだけで少し抵抗ありましたけど、それと和樹のこととは別だってちゃんと分かってますから。
それを俺が信じるって？
それ以上俺に言えることはないんで。お姉さんと和樹も今夜の様子を見る限りうまくやっていけそうだし。
同じ思いはさせたくないだったか。お前妹と仲悪かったの？
Akito made a face that told me that those words truly stung. It was pretty obvious that mentioning his sister was key to cracking this guy.
仲が悪かったわけじゃないです。俺が無関心だっただけで。
I deliberately didn't show any sympathy. Talking was easier and I wouldn't get irritated. I had learned that through experience. Perhaps my response seemed unexpected to Akito because he laughed meekly.
そこは突っ込んで聞かないんですね。笹塚さん、いい人なのかそうでないのかよくわからないな。
別に 俺は自分が聞きたいこと聞いてるだけだから。ま、お前が喋りたいなら聞いてやるけど。
それこそ別に。
セラ
I squinted as I saw Akito suddenly freeze in place.
様子が
Something's definitely wrong. Sweat ran down Akito's forehead. It was kind of dark outside, but it definitely looked like he was paler than he was before.
セラ、どうした？
Just as I was about to touch his shoulder, Akito took a few steps away from me.
なんでも
Are you sure about that? Something definitely just came over him. After a moment, Akito slowly took some deep breaths and looked right at me. Now when he looked at me, his eyes weren't timid like they were before.
笹塚さん、もし俺のことを疑ってるなら思う存分調べてもらって構いません。でもお願いです。和樹にこのことを話すのだけは。いや、あいつ今大事な時だから俺のことなんかで悩ませたくないんです。
お前はそれでいいわけ？
はい。
I think that's all I'll be able to get. Akito had completely calmed down. I attempted to bring this topic to a close.
調べるも何も俺は元警察官であって現職じゃねえから。あいつに思うところがないんだったら別にそれでいい。
わかりました。もしよかったら俺と連絡先交換してもらえませんか？
But Akito didn't want to just let the topic drop yet.
笹塚さん頼りになりそうだから何かあったら相談に乗ってほしくて。
こいつ何を考えてる？
He knows I'm suspicious of him, so what's his reason for wanting to keep in contact?
いいけど
As I took out my cell phone, I observed Akito carefully. Akito's digging into his pocket, and he looks just as relaxed and calm as he does when he's talking to Kazuki.
赤外線でいい？
はい。あ、来ました。
絡め送って。
送りました。よろしくお願いします。
うん。適当なメールはスルーするけど。
わかりました。それじゃ急いでコンビニ行きましょう。和樹たち待ってると思うし。
ああ。
As I walked toward the direction he indicated, I gazed at the text from Akito Sera. At this point in time, I have no idea what the purpose of this contact was for.
収穫といえば収穫か。
As I watched my breath evaporate into the darkness, I quickened my pace. And that is where we will end for the week. Let's go back to just chatting. That's where we're gonna end for now. We will be back tomorrow with some American Truck Simulator as we explore Louisiana, and then do some crochet, and then next Friday, let me check and see. Next Friday should be still good. We'll be back with Indiana Jones, and then more crochet on next Saturday. So I hope that you guys have a fantastic week. I think we are going to go ahead. I'm going to open up another tab here and mute it. I think we are going to raid Pastor Dustin. He just went live, so he is going to be doing his Bible and chill for about an hour, and then he's going to be playing some community games and prayer time. And so I hope that you guys enjoy your time there. Let me get this raid set up. There we go. I hope you guys have a fantastic week. And always remember, God loves you, and so do I.